Yes, so hello everyone, sorry for the little technical issues. So let's see if this works. So this nice guy, it's me. I've been working with VR since 10 years. I've started even before working with like computer vision and similar multimedia technologies. And I followed some cool projects in the past, starting from games and social VR experiences, multiplayer games, etc. And for 4 years, I worked on this company called VRROOM, which were doing very cool concerts in virtual reality. So this is one of the most iconic things we have worked on. It was called Welcome to the Other Side. And this kind of concerts were running on VRChat, which is a platform we all love. But at a certain point, we started wondering, why don't we create a platform of our own? Do we need to keep using VRChat, or we can start doing something of ours? So that is the moment that we started the journey like around 2 years ago in trying to create a platform for VR concerts. And I want to tell you something about our experience and some advice I can give to you in case you want to do something similar. So the question which you should start, and that's been the leitmotif for 3 years when I was at VRROOM, is should you really start having your own platform? Because everyone says, I want my platform, it would be cool to have my own platform, but for 3 years basically I said, no, let's not do it. VRChat is so cool, we can start. We can keep using it. The reason is doing your own platform is a very, very huge undertaking. So you must be sure that it's something that is really needed, that you have to create your own platform. And it is not enough to use other platforms that are existing. For instance, VRChat was very cool, but at a certain point we felt the need to have ticketing or similar sales of merchandising or similar features, which were not available at that time on VRChat. And also another thing you have to ask yourself is, are there people that are really interested to use that? Because of course, you may feel the need, but no one may be interested in going there. So why doing all this effort? So you have to build something unique, you have to build something useful, but the other question is, can you really build it? Because you should, but maybe you don't have enough money to do that. And I always say, to give an order of magnitude of people, don't start if you can secure at least 1 million, because making a platform, a real platform for VR can be pretty complicated and expensive. Do you have the competencies to do it? Do you have a team, or you know the people that can build a team to do it? So it's questions that you should start doing and asking yourself even before starting building the platform. Because if the answer is no to this question, my suggestion to you is don't do that, and wait for the conditions to be true to build a platform. Otherwise, you start really something very huge, you burn all your money, you become super frustrated, and it's a problem. In case the answer is yes, okay, let's build a platform, then let's start doing a bit of design. So the first thing we started to do is, okay, what do we really want to do? Okay, platform for VR concerts, but for who we are building this platform, what is exactly the vision around which we should align? Because again, everyone in the team should be aligned, and when a new member enters the team, it should know exactly what you're going to do. And why this seems obvious, it is actually not, because there are so many possible shades or different variations of the idea of this platform that when the team grows, if everyone has a slightly different idea, it's complicated then that the team is aligned in a common goal. And then one thing that I like to stress every time is also defining your own values. We are people, we have values, and also the products we build finish to have these own values. And these values may have implication, very strong implication on the product. So for instance, one thing that we try to keep as a value is the privacy of the user, which is one of the implications. The more you want to care about privacy, the less data you can gather. The less data you can gather, you can also know less about your users. So being able to iterate, let's say, without having enough data about your product. You may think about being representative maybe of your culture, of your country. What about accessibility? If you care about accessibility, that's great. But that's, for instance, it has some burden on the time you need to build the experience. So it's very important to have your own values. We decided to care a lot about, for instance, safety, privacy, and accessibility, because we really wanted to do something good. And then another thing you have to ask yourself, of course, is the target user, because there are various types of people currently in VR, and people that are currently in what is called the Metaverse, at least when the word was cool. And there is a bit of difference in what they're looking for a platform. So this influences, again, everything. Like, for instance, we millennials are like, love the cyberpunk thing. If you're going to build for Gen Alpha, probably it's not the best vibe you should give to your platform. Another thing that is important is that who is going to use the headsets? Until a few months ago, I mean, there is the very young kids, and then there are millennials. But for instance, the Gen Z are the ones that are more Metaverse native, so the ones that are used more to live in a virtual world. So who are you going to target? That's an important choice to take. And after you started doing all these reasonings about, okay, that's my vision, which is the big vision. Okay, we do a big platform for concerts, do concert in stadium for the biggest artists in the world. The real question you should ask is, yes, but what do I deliver in 3 months from now? Because you cannot spend 5 years just building a huge product that maybe no one wants. So you should be practical and say, what's the first step? And the first step is usually something that is not that great. It should be something you're a bit embarrassed about, like a famous sentence says, because it's limited by time, by budget, by what you can build. So you're like, okay, in 3 months, we can do a platform where people can enjoy one single concert. And this is what we did. We started developing like this in August of 2022, and we delivered the first alpha was around January. So it was like in development a few months with a team that was built while we were developing it. And we decided to do, okay, we just do basically one concert. We don't think about user-generated content much, these kind of things, because this is what we can really deliver in a few months. And even if we cut out a lot of features, still we had to crunch in the end to deliver, because there are many difficulties that you find during your development. And again, after you have clear what is the first step, okay, it's time to design it. So what is the technical architecture? What is the vibes of the style of the art? What is the user experience? And what is the sound? Many people forget about the sound, but it's very important also as a feedback to make people feel more immersed. So, and before even you start building something, it's very important you do all these design state things, so doing very boring architectural documents, sketches about the UX, you do the various mood boards about your company and the platform, because so, again, you prepare a lot before, so everyone has a clear idea what is going to be built. And don't start doing anything before you have this. I stress this a lot of time. So this is a story about a concept we tried to do years before the platform, and we didn't have the time to do proper project management, proper design, etc. And I like this picture because the thing you see in the middle, which looks like a burning fire, is actually the singer. That should have been that thing, but since we didn't have time to do proper design, to test, etc., when we went live, there was this, like, I don't know, Burning Man thing that we were very embarrassing in seeing, but pretended that everything was fine to look cool in front of the others. So do the design, do the testing, do project management. And another thing that is important is the content thing. So you're building a platform. Theoretically, a platform is something that lets people build content on top of it. So I create a platform for concerts, whoever can create concerts. And this is what is called user-generated content, which is amazing, which is something you can use to say that you're truly building a platform. And so everyone is happy, but at the same time, it's going to bring lots of problems. You have to do the creator tools. So it's a big part of development about building them. You have to do content moderations. You have to be sure that no one is going to violate IP while doing that. So it's going to be problematic. And if anyway you ask people to do user-generated content, in any case, you have to have your own content strategy because people will arrive, the creators will arrive slowly, and you need to attract people. You need to show that your platform is cool. I like to put the concert of Fatboy Slim that Engage did a few years ago, which was amazing, and everyone, after seeing that, was really like, oh, Engage is so cool. That shows the power of doing very good content on your own platform. It should be yourself doing that. The Fatboy Slim concert was made by the Engage team itself, in fact. So it's something that is very important, attracts people, but at the same time is going to bring you a lot of money, time, it's going to distract the team from the development of the platform itself, and it's going to be, let's say, intense. And there is also in our case, for instance, there was the management of the artist also to take in account. So you want to do a platform for concerts, you need to find the singers, because at the beginning, no one knows you, so it's not going to, you're not going to have Justin Bieber on your platform. You are going to start with some more indie artists, and even with them, there will be the labels asking for a lot of information about what you're doing. You have to secure the rights for a certain time, and then you have to bring them a certain day to have an appointment to bring them in this room, to have the tracking so that they can be inside your platform. And what sounded like an easy task to do actually was a very, very huge undertaking itself, and a lot of stress because the time to do that is usually very long. So if you have to work with artists, be sure to have in your timeline this considered. So I'll try to go quickly on some choices you have to do. So the avatars, all this infamous selfie of Zuckerberg became famous because they chose to do these very weird avatars in Horizon Worlds, and they backfired because of this appearance. But at the same time, I understand the technical choice. I want to do something that is lightweight, so the platform is also more performant on Quest. So you have to do a lot of choices about the avatars. They're important, the identity of the user. But they can have a burden computational side. You have to be sure that they are inclusive for all people. You have to choose if they put the legs or not. And also, in some reasons, can be good to use an external service. So we ourselves had our main avatar service, Ready Player Me, because it already offers everything you need, basically. We had some other avatars of our own, but the main provider was RPM. Then how many people you want on your platform in the same room? Everyone would like to have a stadium with people all together cheering, but technically it's impossible in this moment. So there are some people experimenting with libraries of networking with many people in the same place. There is RP1 here, for instance, at AWE. But again, it's a very ongoing, complicated topic about which kind of networking stack you have to use to guarantee that there are enough people in the room to make the experience fun. And also, if you can't guarantee many people in the room, you have to also design the space of your platform to be smaller. Otherwise, it looks no one is there because you have a very big room and few people. Then you have to ask which device to support. I always suggest to anyway use cross-platform tools to develop it. Which realities to support? Because, for instance, at a certain point, we started wondering, should we start doing concert in augmented reality? But the thing is, yeah, but how do you do social augmented reality, social mixed reality? So here there is a little part of, for instance, a speech Jesse Schultz did a few weeks ago. For instance, showing how they are doing some sort of shared spaces in mixed reality, which is basically one person in augmented reality, but you see the other people connected to your own room, but you see them in VR. Because you need to create like a common reference space about meeting together. Cannot be just people that you see them in AR, because you see them in your room, but they don't see you they don't see your space where you are in. So it's pretty complicated to understand how to do social AR, that's the thing. You have to think about the creator tools, as I said before. And there is problem with versioning. There is the problem about the safety, how to moderate the content that is being developed. So in the beginning, it's easy because you have just one version, but that's another thing you have to think about. There is the legal side. This is pretty boring, writing documents about GDPR, privacy rules, et cetera, et cetera. And regarding the safety, there is a lot of topics that makes your mind explode, because when you start thinking about possible trolling things, basically there are so many possible holes they find in your platform that you're going to get crazy. So, and also, for instance, banning. You want to implement muting, kicking people away from the room. If someone is harassing the others, 3, 4 people, for instance, can vote to kick this out, and so the troll is out of the platform. That seems good, but then a colleague of mine said, yeah, but what if there are squads of 3, 4 trolls that go together in rooms and kick out all the good people? Because that's happened, he said. And so you're like, okay, but then what do I do? So my suggestion in this case is mostly to try to partner with someone that does this as a job. So we partnered with XRSI, which is another association that is here. That is an association exactly about safety, privacy, and all the rest. And they have in their team people that know what suggestion to give in these cases. So one interesting rule they told me is you have to have a stricter safety with the growing number of users. So if you have 5 users, it's useless to have 1 million rules about safety, because most probably these 5 users are your friends, let's say. So it makes no sense. The more the community grows, the more you start having some bad apples. So the more the community grows, the more you make stricter rules. I think that's a very interesting thing that I've learned. And in fact, I have to say that we had some moderation thing with kicking, muting, and banning. Not anything super complicated, and it was enough for the status we're in the project. UX, this is something that many people forget about, but it's important to have a professional in the team that knows the users and think about providing a good experience to avoid that you think the people think in a way, and instead they do the things in another way. But it's very important with the UX side to make tests, because if you work with a good UX designer, the thing you will say is, okay, I have experience, I have some assumptions, but I'm not 100% sure until I see the users try the application. So it's very important, apart from having professionals, to keep doing internal tests about your application. And then one error that I did in the beginning is that I was focusing a lot about the VR part of the experience, because I'm a VR guy. But actually, there is a lot of attention to be given to the other parts of the platform. The platform may have a website where people register, may have a backend, and it surely has a backend where there is the data of all the users. And if you don't care about this, you're going to have problems. We had, in one of the concerts we did at a certain point, we had a problem with the caching of the backend, and people couldn't download the concert we prepared. So that launch was a bit ruined by this thing. And the thing is, you have to keep putting a lot of investment on the backend. The more you go on, the more the backend becomes important. So you must be sure to have professionals working on it. And you must be sure to have tests made with enough people that test the platform before doing a big launch, to be sure to detect some problems that are just 3 people trying it. You don't see them, but if there are 50, you start seeing that something is not good, and you fix it before your big launch. And then monetization. How are you going to make money? You can sell tickets, you sell subscription, you sell beautification. You can sell a lot of things, provided someone wants to buy them. And you have to be careful anyway of how you collect the money, because currently you have to rely on the in-app purchases systems of the stores, which are going to get 30% of your money. And also, usually the purchases are exclusive. So if I buy something on the Meta device, I have to use the in-app purchase system of Meta, and I buy something that should be used only on Meta. These are currently understood. There are many limitations about sales of cross-platform items, which are going to, let's say, ruin your distribution of the content. So I'm going to skip a few things because time is tight. Project management, team building, this is a classical thing. Don't let people in your team kill each other. They work well together. If there are problems, then there will be problems. Try to solve them in a very creative way. And as I said, do test before launching anything. It's boring. It's very boring. But if you don't do that, the moment you're going to do the launch, something is going to get bad. And trust me, it is going to happen for real. So the thing that is important is continuously repeating the test for every launch. So for instance, there was happening one time that we didn't touch the registration thing for months. At a certain point, we were going to close to launch one of the updates, and we did a test to verify that the registration was broken. Something that we did broke the registration. So it's important, even if you don't touch the feature, to keep testing it even later, and keep testing in real conditions about what's going to happen. And you then have to launch your product, of course, and you have to be there to support people on Discord, to support them in case of problems. If problems happen, don't disappear. Be there answering people. I know it's frustrating. I know it's embarrassing. But if you're there answering people to their problems, they usually calm down. They understand when you say, sorry, guys, I'm in beta, I'm still learning, we're trying our best, sorry for the issue, instead of disappearing, because in that moment, people get really, really frustrated. And a piece of advice, if you have some updates on the platform, you have some content to launch, don't do that on the same day. Because we did it, it's going to stress the whole team, you have to test 2 types of things, and no, basically no. This is a small trailer I will cut apart about the launch alpha concert. So this was like some French trap singers. I listened to this guy for like 1 month. In the end, I couldn't really stand him anymore. And basically, you can see people could have fun in the platform by enjoying the music, having fun together, interacting between them, and all the rest. And then we did other concerts, which I'm going to show you. I'm just leaving you very briefly. I'll just take 30 seconds of our time to say, first of all, it's important to launch, it's important to do these things, but the most important thing is to create a community. It's easy to launch a great concert having 1,000 people, 5,000 people arriving, but then who is going to stay the day after? You need to create a community about your platform, and that's not easy at all. Meta itself is having a problem with this, so you have to invest money, marketing, and maybe target existing community, maybe about music, and try to bring them to the platform, make someone of them your ambassador. It's very complicated problem. And that's it, basically. I just want to say that if you succeed, you will get a lot of success, awards, press exposure, and all the rest. But then you may also get bad things, so crashes, etc., but don't get depressed, it's normal, keep working and things will get better. Sometimes you fail because of your success. So we did the launch concert with the alpha. I told you that the limit was just 1 concert. That seemed like a great idea. The problem that we succeeded so much that we arrived at the first place on the Pico store. So after the concert, people kept downloading the app, trying it, there was nothing to do, and they were keeping doing 1-star review, like, this is a horrible platform, there is nothing to do. And so at a certain point, Pico told us, let's remove for 1 second this platform from the store, otherwise it's going to be a disaster. So we have had our own failure from success. Unluckily, the project is not available anymore, because even if you do all the best things in the world, life may say no, and your startup may fail anyway. So I hope you will do your own successful platform instead, and thanks for listening, and enjoy your VR and the Metaverse. Bye-bye.